Good morning, everybody. Welcome to coaching. I liked how Mike was hosting our sales meeting yesterday, and it was kind of like a radio program. And I'm going to steal his style a little bit and say, I'm your host, Will Cooper. It's glad to have all of you with us today with coaching. We've got a lot on the docket today. We're going to talk about, see, don't you love that style? Way to go, Mike. I love it. So yeah, we got a lot on the docket today. We're going to talk about Jimmy Burgess gave us an idea about a video CMA unsolicited. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to show it. I got it queued up. We'll go over that. Probably going to queue up some other questions about video prospecting. We're going to talk about some of the rules and laws around that and the technologies we can use, the tools we can pull down. So get ready to make some notes. We're going to be on, there's a couple places you could do this. In the handout, we had the Jimmy Burgess note section. You could write there if you want, or you can go to page 9 where we've got all the examples of prospecting, or you could be in the manual on page 15 where we've got all the different kind of ideas for prospecting. So that's a lot, right? that's a lot to talk about. So without any further ado, what I thought, and hey, you know, maybe what I'm most excited about is to hear what your takeaways were from the seminar. Well, Colin, do you want to do that first? You want to do the video, or do you want to talk? Do the video first. What do you want to do? See, this is where if we were together, I would read your body language and know exactly what you wanted.
You know what? How about doing that? I vote for the video first.
Video first. Here we go, Steve. You got it. Since I've already got it teed up. Yep, here we go. I'm going to share screen. Okay, this is the sample of him using Google Earth, by the way. So he starts off and he's talking over the top of Google Earth. Remember, he talked about that. So let me back it up a little bit. And will you guys, hey, Joe, let me know if this is coming through okay, all right?
You got it. Make sure you check when you hit the share, make sure you're hitting the share sound. There's a little checkbox at the bottom.
Do I have to back up and do that again?
So just go hit when you hit your share, and then you're hitting where the bomb is.
Got it. Got it.
There's 2 little bottoms, optimized for video and sound.
Got it. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Carrie, it's Jimmy Burgess with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services down at the beach. Just want to check in with you guys. I hope you had a great summer. Been about 6 months since I let you know kind of an update on where we are and where your condo's value is. So just want to give you a quick brief update on kind of where we are with everything, what's happening right now, and get you a little better deal. I know you know this, but I just kind of want to go through it as you know, it just goes, this is adagio here. Building A, building B, building C, D, E, F, obviously where yours is, and G. So let me kind of go through some of these things, some of these sales that have happened recently that have come on the market, and the lack of activity actually in condos like yours. Now we know, so what I did is I put up all the sales for the last couple of years to get us a basis on where those sales have been. And in reality, we have not had a single place, we've only had one place sell in the last year, and it was the one that sold for $720. And that sold in, I believe it was September. Let me look this up real quick and show you exactly when this one sold. This one sold in September 28th of last year. So coming up on a year since that last sale. And when we go back over here to this list, let me move this around just a little bit. When we go back over here to this list, you can see that's the only one that sold in the last year. These others were sales that you're probably familiar with that happened previously. 725, 725, 740, and 755. What happened when we had the 755 price move, which was a pretty substantial move from where we had been in that low 700s, we saw a good bit of them come on the market. As you can see right now, we've got a few that are for sale. This one just came on the market this past 2 days ago. And this is a first floor unit in building E, so across from you, 103 for $745,000. To be perfectly frank, it's priced really good. I don't expect that one to last long. But we have had this one sitting here, E304 at 755, D203 at 764.9, E302, 769. That one's been on and off the market for a long time. F302, so right above you at 769. And then F303 again, just right above you and one over at 769 also. And those are the 3-bedroom places that are available. What this is telling us is a couple things. I'm going to give you a general outlook on what we're seeing overall in the market. If we just take the full residential market along Highway 30A, what we've been seeing this year is year over year. So this is a little bit of a flattening of your place. Your price, so we're in good shape there. Right now, we've had 2 of these sell this year, and then we've got just a few that are for sale. We've got 1, 2, 3.
All right, I'm going to show the other one, guys.
To kind of get a better feel for that. Wanted me to go over and just do a quick video walkthrough or get on.
Let's see, where's the other one? Okay, here's a different style.
Watercolor right now as far as some of these prices. I don't know if you've seen these yet or not. Wanted to give you an update. Good time as we're coming really out of kind of that time with the pandemic where we're really we've seen an amazing move in the prices just in this last 60 days especially. And I wanted to show this to you just to give you an update on where the value is. Just good place, if nothing else, to have a marker on where your value is. If you decide to come back at some point and look at this in the future. So let me kind of start with this. I did a house over on in phase 2 of watercolor. In September, the owners asked me to kind of get them an idea of what the value was. It was in that time about $650 a square foot. We just went under contract this week, full price at $980 a square foot on a house that's pretty similar to yours as far as the age. So I kind of want to go through this and really dive into these numbers to show you most of the activity and the big moves have been happening in phase 2 and phase 1 in the last few months. It is about to move over, in my opinion, to phase 3. We don't have a house right now. Well, I'll show you in just a second, but we're looking at right now the lowest priced house in phases 1, 2, and 3 is $2.8 million. So we're in a very interesting position right now as far as the size of your house and everything that you've got over there. So let me go through some of these numbers. I want to just start with the 736 Western Lake Drive. Now this is down there in that camp district that backs up to Seaside. So those lots do typically bring a premium a little bit, but look at this. This thing sold and closed $993 a square foot. And that one actually closed this week on Monday, actually, is when that one closed. This is one that has actually, this was my listing for a past client of mine, 1352 Western Lake Drive. So if you're headed around towards the front, this would be the one right before you get, right after you pass Crossvine Circle coming from your place. So it's right there on the highway. It's smaller. This one's 1,996 square feet. We sold it for $951.90 a square foot, full price. We got on that one also. Now, listen, phase 3, some of these numbers, the sold numbers are lagging a little bit in phase 3 to what we're seeing. You know, both of these closed on Monday. So these are the most recent numbers we've got right here as far as the closings this past week. If you'll notice this is a 3,373 square feet. When I pulled yours up, it was roughly 2,400 square feet. I've got exact numbers I'll show you in just a second. But to get you an idea, typically, you know, this one's a little more square footage. It's sold for $770 a foot. And you can see that one closed about 2 months ago. So it's amazing what's happened in the last 2 months, to be perfectly frank. Blue Jack Street, this is another one. This one closed in January and January 4th. This one sold for $726 a foot. It's just basically right almost diagonal to yours at the end of the street there, right there close by. Also 49 Blue Jack right there by you. Right, just about every month right now. We saw this huge move in this first quarter. So we're looking at this $890 a foot, you know, and that's a bigger one, 3,200 square feet.
Okay, there you go. I'm going to talk about some compliance issues, obviously, but I'd love to take your questions. And Joe, maybe we should talk about what kind of tool we might be able to use for something like this. So let me first get the compliance issues out of the way. The use of sold data can be used in single presentations, but not mass produced and mass circulated. So the way that Jimmy's going about looking at a list of sold is okay. Well, I think the out of bounds, when he mentioned the under contract, did you guys catch that? He mentioned an under contract. I would put that in the confidentiality bucket. Unless he's got written permission to talk about the terms of the offer with his client, with someone else, then he probably shouldn't do that. So I think that's out of bounds. I wouldn't be mentioning, we are under contract right now at X price. Okay, so let's stay out of that. The other thing that he mentioned is kind of getting lists of emails in particular communities and then emailing out people. Our rule at Berkshire is we don't email someone that we don't know, or we try very hard not to do that. I know that I know every once in a while that can happen, not intentionally. So my advice is to not email someone that you don't know, So don't spam people. And we kind of said that, but I didn't want to correct Jimmy, kind of on the spot right there. So let's not mention confidence. So let me review. Sold data is fine in one-off presentations and cannot be masked. Like, you can't take a list of solds and then blast out the emails to everybody. Okay, you can't do that. If you have one single presentation with one party, like to get a listing or to solicit a listing, even those are unsolicited CMAs, you are in bounds. Okay, the rule there is no mass circulation. Okay, no mass circulation of sold data. Of course, we all know we use sold data when we go to a listing appointment, right? So we're good there. Don't email someone you don't know, and don't use confidential terms from under contracts or other information, frankly, when you represent a client. Joe, what tool should everybody use here? He mentioned BombBomb. There's another, I guess, similar program that we use, Videolicious. Do you want to talk about that for a sec?
Sure. So the way that he's doing this is he's using basically BombBomb, which is a program you can download and put on your computer so that you can use your background and talk over your background. There are many different video tools that you can use for that. The two easiest ones are what you're using right now, Zoom. You can just record yourself recording your screen. You go on the MLS and you do exactly what you just saw, except for you just share your own screen, record yourself talking about the stats. That's something that you can do right now. The only suggestion I'd have for you on that is that when you hit that little record button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, make sure there's two options. There's record to the cloud and record to your computer. Record it to your computer so you have full access to the file, basically, is the easiest way to do that. So when Will says, hey, Joe, hit record on this meeting, I hit the little record button at the bottom of my Zoom screen. It asks me, do I want to record to the cloud or record to my computer? I just record to my computer. That makes it really easy for me to go upload it to YouTube later on and do whatever I need to do. You can even get into editing if you choose to, because it's just an MP4 file, which anyone that's ever done a video before knows you can load an MP4 file into any video editing program, cut, speed up, do all kinds of different things if you really want to get fancy with it. Super easy to do. Of course, I say super easy to do because I've done it like 4 times a week for the last 3 years. I understand that you're going to say, not so easy, Joe. The bottom line is you got to try it. You got to get there. Just start your own Zoom meeting. You don't have to invite anybody. Just start a Zoom meeting for yourself. Share your screen, share the tabs that you have on your browser, record it, and then watch it back. Watch what it looks like, see what it turns out to be. So like a lot of these things that we're covering today, the goal is really experience, meaning try it. You got to try it. You got to do it. Can I make a little note for you too here? You will hate the first 20 that you do. Maybe the first 30. You'll hate them. You'll hate them. You'll say, it looked terrible. The sound is terrible. The light's terrible. This is terrible. Everything's terrible. Nobody cares. They all want to see your face. They all want to see you doing your thing. In fact, one of the biggest things I hope that we can all get over here is that the reason why video is so powerful is that it does invite that personal connection. So even though it feels like it's distant, it feels like it's canned, it feels like it's scripted, for the person receiving that video, it's a way better experience than just trying to read something like read an email or text-based, whatever. So
Hey,
get
Joe.
over the hump, get over the fact that you will hate it. It'll be uncomfortable. You won't like the way it turns out for the first little bit, and then keep going. Just keep trying. So Zoom's an easy one. YouTube, if you have a Gmail address, you happen to have a YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com and sign in with your Gmail address, there's a little button in the upper right-hand corner, has a camera on it. You can record, share your screen. You can do everything that you just saw in those videos as well. Again, it has more to do with you being comfortable with seeing yourself on the camera, understanding how to do the transitions, understanding how to share your screen, and walk through those statistics to make that happen. Now, Videolicious, as Will mentioned, that is an app that is paid for by the brokerage that can be downloaded to your phone. So it's a little bit different in the sense that you're usually not sharing a background with Videolicious. You're usually just talking about yourself. However, Videolicious allows you to load photos in. So if you literally download the stats that you're going to cover in your video, you can use those as your background photos as you go through in Videolicious. There are videos on the intranet about how to use Videolicious if you want to go through and take a look at those as well. But those are 3 tools of zero cost to you: Zoom, YouTube, Videolicious. You can go ahead and get started right after this meeting. BombBomb is a subscription. You can use that as well, but you have to go to BombBomb, BOMBOM, and sign up for that to use that if you want. But all the tools are the same, and you're going to have the same reaction no matter what tool you use, which is, I don't like it. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I don't like what happened. Again, and the cost of getting good at this is just doing it over and over again. So just swallow that pill. Just go, all right, let's make it happen, and away we go. Videolicious is available on the marketing resource. So when you get into the resource center, just go into a marketing resource, search for Videolicious, and all the connections are there for you. Again, there's a video on how to do that on the intranet as well. Just go to intranet marketing, video learning, marketing and tech, and then go scroll down, look for Videolicious. You can find the how-to on that as well.
Great, Joe. Thanks. Hey, I'm gonna answer some of these chat questions. Go ahead and look at them too, Joe. Some of them are more for you. Ramon, the key here is if it's one presentation at a time. That's the key. Okay, so if it's one video message that you blast out to 100 people, then we could get an argument here. Look, the rules don't say a lot about video specifically, but they do talk about using sold data and circulating mass sold data as not part of the realtor's soliciting of listings and their course of working to obtain a listing. So the key here is to use it one at a time. And frankly, the big power of what Jimmy's doing here is he's using video to have a conversation with someone that he already knows and he knows their property. He's just having a conversation with them. You know, he's talking about their property. And so that's the power of it. And if you just do one simple message, I think you can't show the sold comps. That's a different, maybe attack or tactic. You know, is to come at it from, I'm gonna do one video and send it to all my past clients. That's fine if you want to do that about the market, but you can't show on your screen all those solds. You could talk about graphs. That's why we summarize it down into what's going on. You could take our new stats deck that we just redid, and you could speak to that area by area. You know, do one video, send it out to 100 people. No problem with that. Again, the problem is on the MLS front is when you take sold data and then you mass send it, okay? Especially when it's one listing at a time and the list. We can't hand that out in a neighborhood, and we shouldn't, because people get irritated about that, right? They say, why is this realtor circulating my sold information to someone else, okay? You can use that sold data when, like we always do in listing presentations, right? We can, or CMAs, right? We can do that as our normal course of business. That's in bounds. The other is not. So, hey, Joe, there's a lot of questions about, let's see, if you recorded this on Zoom, is that too big to email?
No. So the big, let's cover what BombBomb is. BombBomb is a video email delivery platform. That's what they do. They built an entire thing. They have snap-ins to your Outlook. They have snap-ins to a bunch of other stuff so that you can open an email, record a video, do all this other kind of stuff. That being said, because it is a mass email distribution platform, it is also subject to being caught by a lot of spam filters. right? Because you're making this thing that's designed to send to a lot of people. So on the one hand, it's great because the tools to record the video and distribute the video are very slick. If the video does get through your spam filter, then somebody opens the video. There's something called a marketing pixel that's embedded in all of these emails that go out. It's the same type of technology that we use on Marketing Resource. So the reason that you know someone opened your newsletter is because there's a hidden pixel inside of that email that fires once it goes onto a preview pane or somebody looks at it on their phone. It goes, oh, this email was open. It shoots back, right? So the same technology is involved in BombBomb in that same way. So because it's an entire platform, the email that it comes from is not truly your email. It looks like your email, but it's coming from the BombBomb servers. And so there's a lot of helpful things about using BombBomb. And so I want to be very verbal about saying I support BombBomb. I think it's a great technology. I think it's a great platform, simple to use, but like any of these tools, you're going to be uncomfortable when you first start, trying to go through and making that happen. The advantages obviously are that because it is a program that loads into your email and basically guides you through setting up those videos, you can go from zero to getting a video out fairly quickly. When you go through something like recording it on Zoom and then trying to email that Zoom file, you wouldn't necessarily email the Zoom file. What you would do is you probably upload that to a YouTube station and send them the link. You could do that, or with Zoom, for example, you could upload that to a Dropbox. You could do a couple of different things to get to the client that way. The big trick here is making sure that the person you're sending this video to is someone who has somehow received an email from you before, right? So you're going to have somewhat of a relationship with that person one way or another. The problem with sending out a heavy visual or video-based unsolicited email is the same reaction you have when you're scrolling on your phone and someone you don't know has a big splashy image or a video trying to get you to buy leads or trying to get you to use a staging company or trying to get you to use a moving company. And that same feeling you have with like, leave me alone. You don't want that emotional reaction to somebody on the other end of this video, right? So it's kind of, I'll tell you a story. When I was working for a different company, we were in a marketing meeting where we were deciding how to do our mass emails to other companies that we were marketing to. And while we were in the meeting, our VP of sales was verbally yelling about how much spam he had on his phone while he was telling the marketing leader to spam everybody else. And so we all kind of looked at him like, are you serious? Like you're wanting us to do the same thing that's annoying you in this meeting. And the look on his face was just sort of like, well, yeah, but that's them. Like, no, we're all the same. We're all humans don't want something. So craft the video message in a way that feels personal and feels like it's something that of value, right? That was a big thing that Richard talked about a lot was, making sure that you're providing something of value. And so the delivery mechanism could be BombBomb, could be YouTube, could be a shared Dropbox folder, could be a lot of other ways that you can do that in order to get that email out and circulating with people. But again, back to the reason why BombBomb was created as a company. It is a mass email video distribution platform. Like that's what they do, right? So they embed the video, they make all these other kind of cool things happen. Mike Fondario, about 14 months ago, did a nice little marketing and tech training class for us. That's on the intranet too. Shows you how to record something in YouTube, embed it right into an email, send it out. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do that to make that happen. But keep in mind, the overall objective here is to get comfortable at recording yourself while you are talking about statistics that are specific to a particular client or a potential client. And so once you sort of go through that, how you get that delivered to that client, we have, again, YouTube links. You can embed those in video. You can send them a shared folder. You can do lots of different things to sort of invite somebody in and make those things happen. So there's going to be some trial and error with everybody, because you're going to find Rachel might love BombBomb, Ramon might want to just stay with YouTube, right? The way that you do that is going to be completely on your level of comfort, but all level of comfort is going to start with you actually trying this out. Trying them out, record yourself on Zoom, try one on YouTube, try one on BombBomb, try one on Videolicious. Do what you can before you find a tool you say, I can do it this way, and then you can figure out the best way to deliver that to your potential clients.
Nice. Thanks, Joe. Hey guys, write down a couple. If we were together one-on-one, here's what I would ask you. Write this down. Just quickly, just don't overthink it. Here, some answers, okay? Write this down on some paper. First of all, what's your favorite area to practice real estate? Write it down. Don't overthink it. Just say it. Write it down. Your favorite area. You just enjoy it. You just like going there, being there. You like the real estate there. You like the area, for whatever reason. Next one. Why do you like it? Just maybe 3 quick words about why you like it. Write it down. 3 more questions after that. Okay, so why you like it? I like it because it's my favorite area because. Okay, 3rd question. What has changed in that area? Like in the last, it could be anything, 3 months, 1 week, 2 years, 1 year. What has changed? You see where I'm going with this? How about the next one? What's interesting about it? This area that you love. What's so interesting about it? What do you find? Wow, this people probably don't know this, but if they did, it's very interesting. Last one. So I asked you what has changed. What's going to change? Now, none of that has anything to do with the comps and the CMA. But if you made that really specific to someone who lives in that area and you talked about it and you sent a video message and you did, Bill Coleman, when he does his whole, when he takes us from Salt Lake International Airport, right? And he drives us up the canyon, right? And he drives us into Park City. And then he zooms down in, he goes, okay, there's this development. He's got them highlighted. There's this development. And he points out the landmarks, this is this landmark. You're probably familiar with this, right? Here's the old ranch building. And then he zooms in, he goes, okay, now let me tell you, what is he saying? This is what has changed. This is what's new. Or he's going to say, this is what's coming, right? It just grabs your attention. Even for us realtors, we hear it a million times. But I think what I love about what Jimmy said here is he's kind of taken what we saw Bill do. He's using Google Earth. He's overlaying his voice over Google Earth, giving someone a tour, being very specific about their property and looking at the world from their point of view. That's interesting to me. And I think I could just have a conversation. I could just speak right to it. Rachel, so much has changed in Moab. And you could just easily answer these questions. And you could just take something that you're passionate about Moab. There's a particular area or something you just love. Like you love to go there. Why? And why is real estate exciting for you? What has changed in that area? What's going to change? Why do you find it interesting? And if anyone owns real estate as a past client in that area, that's your calling. To see if you can send them something of value. Overarching here, notice that Jimmy is not asking if they want to sell. Okay. And you know what? When I get a group of us together, I'll say, hey, raise your hand if every day when you prospect, do you ask for business? Do you ask for, hey, who do you know? It's kind of been ingrained in us. We say, hey, how about you folks? Have you given any thought to moving? We might say, who do you know that might be interested? And I think that there's a time and place for that. I'm not saying it's a zero. You should never ask for business. Of course not. I do, look, sometimes we just have to make it obvious that we would love to work with someone, right? When they're ready. And we need to ask for the business. But if all we're ever doing is approaching it from what's good for us, we're missing it, right? So this idea here is to use video and give them something of value. Talk about their property, speak like if they're sitting here next to you, you're looking at them, they're sitting next to you and you're having a conversation about their property. How fun would this be? This could be a lot of fun. And I'm looking at your faces. You guys all have great past clients, right? You all have great past clients.
Well, you hit on something really key
really
too.
fun.
Yeah, you hit on something really key too, because like Jimmy, those two that we showed are over the stats, right? Sold,
Yes.
that kind of stuff. Imagine the same kind of video, but you're in front of a new development, or you're looking at a restaurant being built, or there's a change in the way the traffic is flowing down Main Street, or any of those things. They're all relevant, all of them, right? And so you can certainly use statistics. Jamie and her team do these amazing statistic summaries for us that, you know, zero out any addresses or anything that would get us in trouble, right? But at the same time, the content itself is still of high value, right? It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're on your favorite ski run, or, you know, if you're walking down and seeing a restaurant that's just being built, or whatever it is, those are all those things that are really, really, really helpful. So those are some things that I think that could be, you know, think beyond the statistics. Like Will is just pointing out, what do you love about the area? Go film it. Go film yourself in front of it. Talk about why you do it. That way people know what's going on, and you can, you know, really impact that way.
You know, since I'm down here in St. George, and I put myself to this, so it's like, what's my favorite thing? The new belt route is called the Southern Parkway, I think, right? Mary, Bob, am I getting that right? St. George folks, Southern Parkway, that's the belt route, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a brand new road, you guys. And because there's no snow down here, there's no snow plows, the road is smooth. And it banks and everything. It's beautiful. And the sunsets and, you know, driving on that road around Sand Hollow, it's just so spectacular that it's so fun. And you know what? It's a brand new road. And there's a new off-ramp at 30th. It's got a great view. You can step on top of it, just see the whole valley, and there's new developments. So look, what if I just took my camera and said, hey, Ramon, you know, I know you're thinking about a place that's a little warmer and you love your Corvette. Let me tell you something, man. You should bring your Corvette down here. I want to show you this road because it just got cut in, right? And you would love it. And there's no reason to store your Corvette all winter. And then that's the message. And I didn't even hit stats, you know.
Will you repeat that for my wife, please?
You got it, Ramon. Yeah, and we could hook you up real easy with some RV garages here in Dixie Springs, so plenty of place to park. I hope that this has sparked some idea about what you could do. You know, like what fits you, and who did you think about, and what could you say, and how would you go about approaching it? The rules here are you don't need to ask for the business. This is all about connecting with someone, having some fun, offering some value. Yeah, everybody wants to know, what do you think our property's worth now? You know, and that's certainly around the data like Jimmy's doing. I think there's other ways you can approach it, like what's changed, what's going to be changing, what's interesting that you missed. You know, maybe last time they were there, the restaurant was closed that you talked about. Well, guess what? Now it's open. You know, and you just video yourself right out in front of the restaurant. You know, it's open now, guys. Hey, I'm just thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. And you know, I'm going to go in and have that meal I talked to you about, you know, whatever. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways we could approach it. Okay. We're about halfway through. I would love to hear from you guys. A couple of things. First of all, if there's any questions about this, ask them now. And then I want to pivot to what was our takeaways, generally speaking, from the seminar last week. What did you find that was, you know, the keeper content, the gems from it? So time is yours.
And a lot of folks volunteering. I mean, like Nicole Bodle's got a lot of experience with video. Mentioned Mike Fondario. Jake Breen has been doing this for what? 5 years, 6 years,
Yep.
You know, doing these quarterly updates, things like that. Just don't let the technology keep you from trying something, right? And the amazing thing, and just kind of add, is we're kind of going through, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? You go to a search engine and type in, how do I record my screen? You know, I've got a Windows computer, I've got a Mac, I've got this, I've got that. Every technology you're using, from an iPad to an Android tablet to whatever, has a built-in app that lets you do this. And you just have to go say, let me try this, right? And again, just prepare for, it's going to be clunky at first, but you can do it.
I just committed to sending Ramon a video driving the Parkway in the Corvette. So I'm going to put myself to work and really sacrifice today to get that video sample over to my buddy Ramon so he can share it with his wife.
Yeah, and Elena's just commenting. She just signed up for Bomb Bomb yesterday. I mean, like, yeah, you just put your foot in there and give it a shot. I mean, there's stuff out there that'll really, really work for you.
Okay, comments, you guys. If you want to step away from the video stuff, what did you get? Are you ready to pivot? Yeah, I'll sacrifice, John. Yeah, no problem. Take one for the team. So, Britt, I'll tee your thoughts up a little bit. Britt and Covey, did you guys catch on sales meeting? I spoke to him, and he was making his second. So he had 2 interviews now with NFL teams, and he posted on his Insta stories that he was in the weight room. And I couldn't help but laugh that, you know, it's probably not where he shines the most, but they had him in the weight room seeing what he could do, and he couldn't tell me who the team was. So anyway, he talked about the word trust, you know, and Tim mentioned that his dad wrote a book, The Speed of Trust. I've ordered a few copies. I'm going to dive into that. It sounds something like I would really believe in. We have a lot of trust in our family, but what did you think about what his football team was able to do when they trusted someone else? He talked about Jalen Johnson, the cornerback that could guard anyone one-on-one. So they just trusted him to do that. And that opened up all kinds of different, you know, riskier schemes on defense to stop the other team. What did you think about all that? Debbie said you love that part of the presentation. Yeah, did anyone who didn't like football not like it? Or Debbie, do you like football and you got it, or what? You're looking for your unmute.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I actually come from a long line of football players, and my dad coached, my brothers play. I learned more about football in that presentation than I learned in watching 1,000 games. So I thought it was great, but it was meaningful, because he's like, if you trust someone to do something, then you take your energy off it. It frees you up to go elsewhere.
Right. So is there examples of that in our business? Like, Debbie, who do you trust when you think about your business? Who do you trust?
Well, I trust myself. I thought, what's my punt? And my punt is when I get something under contract, I know I'm going to close it. So that's some trust that I'm able to convey and communicate to my clients. You know, I have Jonathan that works with me, and I trust him to get certain parts of the business done. So my energy is freed up, you know, getting the deals done and making the sales.
Very good. Very, very good. What else, guys? I'm gonna give you 4 things to think about with trust that someone told me a long time ago, one of my mentors, and it's always stuck out. So, and Debbie, you just reminded me of it. But what else, guys?
So, Will, I think this is really pretty cool. So, you know, we have, you know, several people on our team, and I think part of it is learning to delegate and trusting them with the ability to make decisions. And I think it also let go, that you always go, well, are they going to do it as well as me? And I think we need to let it go, let them learn, make mistakes. Plus often we'll go, wow, they did something even better than I thought. But I think the delegating and letting go because of trust has been very key for us.
Hey, Will, I'd like to add.
So I'd rather Ramon not add, but go ahead.
If you guys don't know, Steve and Ramon are great friends.
So you know, and thinking about who I trust, without getting into names, my title person who does the research and helps me with all the crazy stuff in title, I really trust what she does. And thinking about that, there are lenders that I trust and there's lenders I don't trust. And when I have a lender, and I don't care if I'm on the buying or selling side, that I don't trust, I have to spend a lot more time following up with them and making sure stuff's happening. So not only with, you know, inside Berkshire, but the title company, the lender, those people that you trust in those other affiliates. That's all.
Well said.
Stay awake, Steve.
I'm trying. I am, buddy.
It's good stuff from both of you. Anybody else? Comments on this? Okay, keep thinking, and I want to hear more from what you got out of all of this. But write this down. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, and at top right, trust. So trust, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll make a category. Okay. So trust 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Number 1, trust God, and whatever that means to you. But trust a higher power, that there's more going on than maybe what you see. Maybe it's your own ability. Maybe it's what the future holds. But the idea here is that we trust our maker. Number 2, this is what Debbie said, trust yourself. Trust yourself. This is kind of like investing in yourself. When I think about time that I spend to help myself become better, and the reasons I do that, I've got to trust myself to learn, to grow, to become more, to do hard things. I mean, all that falls under trust myself, that I can do it. Okay. Bet on me. Okay. Number 3, trust others. And this is what Ramon is saying. Trust others. And Steve is saying, kind of let it go, delegate. You can't do it all. This is why in real estate, we often see the plateau of somewhere between 12 and 20 transactions a year. And we can't seem to get more than that. It's so common a problem. And the more we surround ourselves with other experts and a team, look, we got a great team at Brookshire already, whether we call that a team, in our business, we say team, it's like you have someone working with you. That's not your first level team. Your first level team is the leadership and the admin that already work with you. That's your team. The question is whether or not you're trusting them, and are you reaching out to the resources that are utilizing that. The last one, kind of gonna be a surprise here. So we got trust God, trust yourself, trust others, trust the process. And what I mean by this is that I heard Steve Jobs say that he said in one of his speeches that you have to trust that the dots are going to connect in the future. Okay, you can't look ahead and see the dots connecting. But he looked back on his life. He specifically mentioned that he went to a college that was the best in the world at calligraphy. Is that right? Fonts, am I saying that right?
Yeah, calligraphy.
Yeah, calligraphy. So he saw all the different fonts. Okay. And he says, I had no idea that that passion for all these font styles would end up in the first Mac. And then he says, and since Microsoft copies the Mac, then, we may not even have any of this word processing like we do today. But what he's saying is you can only see the dots in the rear. You can't see them in the future. So the last one is to trust the process. And it's a process of growth. It's the process of the future. So have some faith in the future that the dots will connect and things will line up. Boy, is this a great reminder for prospecting. So you go and do a video, you send it out to the person that you were thinking of or whatever, right? And then you wake up the next day and you want to harvest fruit from the peach tree, right? We've got to have some, Jimmy said that some of these videos were looked at years later, right? That they had some shelf life. Okay, so prospecting is, I love in our business, we came up with the word farming. I think that one's a keeper. Because we're kind of planting seeds here. If we went around and planted seeds, just give everyone value, I was thinking of you, and if I were you, this is probably was on my mind. whether it's stats, data, information you have, what's changed, what's interesting, what's coming, what you didn't know. My goodness, we could go on. That's just value, but that's just planting seeds. So this is the last one, trusting process, that the dots in the future will connect. You know, you probably see a lot of that in your life. If you were teaching a teenager, you know, about life, wouldn't you say that? Wouldn't you look at your own life and go, I didn't know at the time, you know? Wouldn't you say that? Well, what about you looking forward? You know, why can't we just coach ourselves on this? And when it comes to prospecting, say, gosh, I could learn this. I can do hard things. I can trust myself. I can trust Joe to help me. I can trust Will to help me. I can trust marketing to help me. I can trust a teammate to help me. And I can do this. And I'm going to trust that my investment in this will bear fruit in the future, right? And there's a link Joe just put on how to do some video and YouTube. And there's a link for it. So there's the resource. We can trust Mike to help you. We can help Joe to help you. What I love about life is that so often it teaches me that the answers to my questions reside in someone else. You know, that, and if I get in my own head, I'll go, well, there are no answers and no one has this answer. And now I'm stuck, right? But the reality is there are answers. And there are people who care about the outcome like I do. And I can get out there and find those who help me. In the, if you have your coaching manual handy, that's why I refer to the hexagon lessons, which are, let's see, what page is that? 38, 39. Just to remind you of the pattern. I know I got this blurry background in, but one of these here, so it's, you know, positive attitude is first. The key question is like, what's going on here? It's like, don't miss the main thing. And the next one is, who can help me? You know, who can help me? The next one's, what do I need to learn? So all of these are just getting you prepared to become more than you are, so you can tackle and do something you haven't done. So if technology or video is a little scary for you, don't worry about it. You're already a 0. So what are you gonna do? Have a negative? There is no negative. It's just a 0. You haven't done one. So why not try it, right? All right, your thoughts, guys. There's 10 more minutes. Your thoughts. Anything else, takeaways from all of this? I mean, what'd you think about this 5'8", 170-pound guy being the leading punt returner in all of college football? What about that? What do you think? You think he's going to be taken? You think someone will take a chance on him? Will he be drafted or will he be a walk-on?
Hey, Will, something that was particularly impressive to me about it is I've been around a lot of athletes and I've been involved in one sport very closely, which is pro cycling.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, very unusual for somebody who is born to privilege to take on the toughest job. Those are the kinds of guys. So in cycling, it's super dangerous. And it's coal miners' sons who have to take risks to get out of the terrible life that they have. It's quite incredible to me that a kid who is born of privilege would choose to be a punt returner, because that is the worst of jobs on the football field. That's not the job that most of those guys want. That's why the other guys weren't trying to learn to catch punts, because who wants to catch a punt and having guys like that running at you? So that really blew my mind that a kid like that would choose to do that.
Very well said. Very well said. Look, I was one of those small guys, and on football team, I played a D-back and a safety. And when the coach said, Cooper, get back for the punt, I was like, wait, me? I don't want to do that. It only took one time having those big guys running full steam at you to know you don't want that job. So, but here, undersized, look, it wouldn't surprise me if Britton's life story pattern continues, right? He walks on and then he makes the team and then he starts and he just keeps beating the odds. That's been his life story. He keeps beating the odds, you know? So yeah, real inspiring. Clearly he's got the Covey DNA, you know, and he said all the right things to us, you know. I think a humble kid too.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't boisterous about anything. Remember, I asked him, I said, hey, what's it like to return a punt in the Rose Bowl? I said, what were you thinking when you're standing back there, right? And there's number 18. He's on the 5-yard line. There's 90,000 people. They're all screaming, and they all know because we're Utah. Most of Utah fans were there. They know what's possible. And that ball's up in the air. I said, what are you thinking? You remember what he said? Fear. Fear. You know, I mean, the wrong answer would have been something like, well, I think about the fact that I'm going to just blow by all these guys. You know, I get it, but a lot of humility in saying, I admit I'm afraid, but I can still do this.
Yeah.
That kind of pales in comparison, doesn't it, to what we're talking about here? We're afraid to do a video? Really?
Yeah.
The other thing I think is important on the lesson there, Will, is even though he's terrified, the absolute worst thing he could do was not move. Right?
Yeah.
So here he is. So no matter how terrified he is, he has to take that first step. He has to start moving in the other direction. And so a lot of times in our lives, we have a situation where we're fearful. And so because we're fearful, we don't move. We overanalyze. We like, well, I don't want to do that yet because I'm not sure what's going to happen, whatever else. In that situation, if you don't move, you are guaranteed to be crushed physically, you know? And,
Yeah.
and so even though he's terrified, that ball comes in, the first thing he has to do is take a step towards the onrush, the giant mountain of meat that's coming, trying to break all the bones in his body. And no matter how afraid he is, that's the only way out of that situation, is to start running the opposite direction.
Yeah, very, very good. He could have a lot of different speeches or a book, you know, like, what did I say? First idea I had for him, I said, you know, who are your blockers? You know, Britton Covey, who's your blockers? And it's about gratitude for those people who help. Remember on that punt return there, he mentioned the kid, and I can't remember, my son-in-law would know this, but one blocker took out 3 guys on that return in the Rose Bowl. Right in the middle. As soon as he kind of busted out of that pack, one blocker got to 3 guys right there. You know? Or a book called How to Shift, right? New thinking, to Joe's point, like how to move in a different direction. Try something different. Lots of lessons. This is why I love sports, you guys. It really, because it's a great teacher, you know? It's a great teacher. I wonder what the Jazz are going through right now. I think Quinn Snyder is really struggling. I think this is, and how's he going to respond to this? He's got sick guys. He keeps losing games. He's competitive. You know, he doesn't have a full team. The other day is all his starters are out. But see, all that is just adversity. You know, it's just adversity, a different flavor. And he's a smart guy. So how will this organization respond to it? And then what can I learn from it? That's why I love sports. Right there. There it is. You know? Yeah, it's the same reason I love Rush. Because it could teach me something. You know, because the lyrics are so good. And Neil Peart was such a great lyricist, and I learned something from it. There's Jonathan and Blake are kind of hitting on something in the chat. I think another really big takeaway was strengthen your strengths. That was so good. It's like, yeah, I am good at this, and I could become better at it instead of taking the thing I'm worst at. Not saying we couldn't make our weaknesses strengths. I think we can. But the idea here was that your strengths have become so strong that the weaknesses can be either handled by someone else or they don't matter. You know? So that really strengthened your strength. I love that. And I love the idea we can become more and we can study. You know, this always goes back to me. It's about how I spend my morning. You know, my consuming good, uplifting content that helps me be a better person, a better professional. You know, what can I learn today? That's a great way to start the day. What can I learn today? Take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be this daunting thing, So just a little bit every day and what that could do for you. So I love those comments, you guys. So we're coming to the end here. I thought I did a poor job on the seminar of, we had 250 people kind of in and out. I think we hovered about 200 for quite a while. Today we hit about 70. And I just did a very, very bad job of encouraging people to come to coaching. I wish I could have go back and just plead with everyone that, look, today is very useful, right? We're not just sitting here chatting. Some really good, key, powerful takeaways today. And if every week we make it a habit of that, then it's going to change you over time. You'll be a little more optimistic. You'll get creative. You'll get some ideas. You'll think, yes, I can, instead of no, I can't. We are human beings. We need to be reminded. We have friendships and relationships inside our company. I care about you guys. I know you care about each other. We can come together. It's been 2 years since we've had a freaking live meeting. What? That's a long time. And what we've got is we've got this platform. Absent of it, it's isolation. And we don't need to live like that, and we don't need to practice like that. So I think grab a buddy and get to the gym, which is get to coaching in real estate, Get here. And I don't think anyone who's ever come to coaching regretted their time on coaching. And I think the same could be said for the broker roundtables when needed. And the various events that we've got that come up. I just think when you invest in yourself, you feel good at the end of the day, regardless of whether it's a listing, sale, buyer, closing, what have you. You still feel good because you bettered yourself. Think about that. One ingredient to happiness is to learn something new. That's a key ingredient to happiness. The other one is to help someone else. But the reason we learn something is because we want to help somebody else. That should fuel us to study our craft better. So anyway, if you could help me rally the troops, for their own good. It's like the people who aren't here are probably the ones who need it the most. That's, anyway. Julie, let's see. Yeah, I love the personal touch of the video, you guys. I think you could just speak to them. Look, I'm serious. I'm immediately going to try this. I'm going to try to send it through a platform. Ramon, you'll be my test subject. So hold me accountable. One of my other sayings I heard from a mentor years ago is accountability is an insurance policy to your goals. So if you want to get a goal buddy, then that's accountability. And that accountability is an insurance policy, and your odds of completion go dramatically higher. So if you're having a hard time just kind of doing things on a consistent basis, just grab someone who has the same general focus and can encourage you. And next thing you know, if it's going to the gym metaphorically, you'll go because someone else is expecting you to go, right? Sometimes it's just easier to let ourselves down than let someone else down. And then over time that builds. I think the power of time is also important too. I think there's something to the fact that our cells regenerate every 90 days. My dad, who's a doctor, is like, the human body is amazing because every 90 days, the cells have been rejuvenated, turned over. Well, I think in 3 months is kind of the key to any kind of big goal. I love the 3-month, the 90-day plans. I love that. You do something 3 times a week, 3 weeks out of the month. For 3 months, you've changed, right? Power of 3. 3 times a week, right? And you do that 3 times a month, okay? So there's 1 month off. And then you do that 3 months, you've got amazing compounding effect, right? Anyway, anybody else have something to say? We're going to conclude here and turn off the record. Yeah, love that book. Okay, hey guys, you know I love you. We all love you. There's a lot of love in this company. Boy, we celebrate the milestones, but we also are there to pick our teammates up when they're struggling. We have some that are struggling right now. And my thoughts and prayers are with all of you at all times. And I get my biggest paydays from just helping you guys. And don't tell the Ronies this, but I would do this job for free. But don't tell them that.
Okay.
Yeah, if I won the lottery tomorrow, Steve, I'd still be doing this. So
I know you would.
yeah,
We love it.
yeah, and I love you guys. Anyway, have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and go become something bigger. Trust yourself, trust your maker, trust the process. Send a video, give it a try. All right, Joe, you can hit stop.